The greatest deception of our time isn't fake news, political propaganda, or social media manipulation. It's the breathtaking lie that you need to chase happiness. You've spent years running after it, haven't you? Climbing corporate ladders, perfecting relationships, accumulating achievements, following countless methods and systems, all promising to lead you to that elusive state of fulfillment. Each milestone reached brings a fleeting high, then leaves you scanning the horizon for the next peak to conquer. You sit here now exhausted from the endless pursuit, yet somehow still believing that peace and contentment lie just one more accomplishment away. What if everything you've been taught about finding fulfillment isn't just wrong, but precisely backward? What if the very act of chasing is what keeps happiness forever out of reach? The tighter you grip sand in your palm, the faster it slips through your fingers. Yet open your hand completely, and the grains rest peacefully there, going nowhere. This simple truth contains a secret to everything we desperately chase in life: happiness, love, success, inner peace. We've been doing it backward all along, haven't we? You're here today because something inside you knows there's more. More to life than the endless wanting, more than the constant struggle, more than this perpetual feeling that happiness is always one achievement away, one relationship away, one breakthrough away. That restless voice inside that keeps whispering, not enough. I hear it too. We all do. How many times have you achieved exactly what you wanted, only to feel that familiar emptiness creep back in days or even hours later? The promotion you fought so hard for, the relationship you thought would complete you, the material possessions you were convinced would finally make you happy. They gave you a brief high, then left you wanting more. It's exhausting, isn't it? This endless cycle of wanting, achieving brief satisfaction, then want. But what if I told you that everything you've been seeking, the peace, the fulfillment, the unshakable happiness, isn't found in getting more, but in letting go? What if the very act of releasing your white-knuckled grip on life is what allows life to flow toward you effortlessly? Think about the things you're holding on to right now. The resentment towards someone who hurt you years ago. The fear of not being good enough that makes you overwork yourself to exhaustion. The rigid expectations about how your life should look by now. The judgment you carry about yourself and others. These aren't protecting you. They're prison bars you built around your own heart. Remember when you were a child, before anyone told you who you should be or what success looks like. That pure joy of existing, of playing, of being fully present in each moment. It wasn't something you had to chase or earn. It was your natural state. What happened? When did we start believing that happiness is something we need to pursue rather than our birthright to experience? Let me share something profound with you. Every time I've truly grown, every real breakthrough in my life came not from acquiring something new, but from letting something go. A limiting belief, a toxic relationship, an outdated self-image, a need to control. And in that space created by letting go, something magical happened. Life rushed in with gifts far greater than what I could have orchestrated with my limited thinking. You see, the universe operates on paradox. The more you chase happiness, the more it eludes you, the more you try to control life, the more chaotic it becomes, the more you strive to prove your worth, the more worthless you feel. But when you let go, truly let go, everything changes. Think of water. When it meets an obstacle, it doesn't fight. It flows around it. It doesn't struggle or strain or try to force its way through. It simply finds another path. Water in its natural state is both incredibly powerful and completely relaxed. That's what letting go looks like. That's what you're capable of being. But I can hear the resistance in your mind right now. But what about my goals? What about my dreams? Are you saying I should just give up and not care about anything? No, absolutely not. Letting go isn't about becoming passive or giving up. It's about releasing the desperate, anxious energy behind your actions. It's about moving from forcing to flowing, from controlling to allowing, from fighting life to dancing with it. When you plant a seed, you don't dig it up every day to check if it's growing. You don't stand over it trying to force it to become a flower faster. You plant it in fertile soil, water it, ensure it gets sunlight, then you let go and trust the process. Your dreams and goals are like that seed. Your job is to set the intention, take inspired action, Then release your attachment to how and when it manifests. Take a moment right now. Just close your eyes. Feel the weight of everything you're carrying, the need to prove yourself, the fear of failure, the resistance to what is, the endless wanting, just feel it all. Imagine setting it down just for this moment. Feel the relief in your shoulders, the expansion in your chest, that lightness. That's your natural state. That's what's possible when you let go. But letting go isn't a one-time event. It's a practice, a moment-by-moment choice. And it starts with awareness. What are you holding on to right now that's holding you back? What old stories are you telling yourself that no longer serve you? What if those very things you think you need to be happy are actually the obstacles to your happiness? Every negative emotion you experience, anxiety, anger, sadness, fear, comes from resistance to what is, from wanting this moment to be different than it is, from holding on to how you think things should be instead of accepting them as they are. The pain isn't in the situation itself. It's in your resistance to it. I've seen this truth play out countless times. People holding on to relationships long after they've ended, causing themselves years of unnecessary pain. Professionals gripping so tightly to their need for control that they create the very failure they're trying to avoid. Parents holding on to who they think their children should be, damaging the very relationships they're trying to preserve. But I've also seen the miracle that happens when people finally let go. The woman who released her need for her partner to change and suddenly found her relationship transforming. The man who let go of his addiction to achievement and discovered a deeper, more authentic success. The parent who released their expectations of their child and finally saw them for who they truly are. These aren't just stories. The mirror is reflecting back your own potential for transformation. Because the truth is, everything you want, the peace, the joy, the love, the success, it's already within you. It's not something you need to chase or earn or become worthy of. It's your natural state, covered up by layers of resistance, fear, and attachment. Think of your mind as a house you've lived in for decades. Over the years, you've accumulated so much stuff, beliefs, fears, judgments, grudges, that you can barely move around anymore. You know you need to let go of some things, but each item seems to whisper, you might need me someday. Or without me, who would you be? So you keep it all living in an increasingly cramped space, wondering why you can't breathe freely. But what if today, right here, right now, you decided to start clearing out that house? What if you picked up each belief, each fear, each attachment, and asked yourself one simple question? Is this still serving me? Now, was this true once? Not did this protect me in the past, but is this serving me right now in this moment? You might be surprised by how many things you're carrying, simply because you've always carried them. The belief that you're not creative because someone told you that in 3rd grade. The fear of speaking up because you were once embarrassed in front of a group. The idea that you have to struggle to be worthy. The notion that love means ever being alone. Are these truths or are they just familiar stories you've outgrown? Let me share something powerful with you. Every time you let go of something that no longer serves you, you create space for something better to enter. It's like cleaning out your closet. You can't receive new clothes if every inch is stuffed with things you never wear anymore. The same is true for your life. You can't receive new opportunities if you're clutching old limitations. You can't welcome new love if you're holding on to past hurts. You can't embrace your true power if you're committed to playing small. Consider how much energy you spend each day maintaining your attachments, the mental gymnastics of trying to control outcomes, the emotional labor of keeping up appearances, the exhaustion of resisting what is. What could you do with all that energy if you simply let go? The things you're most afraid to let go of are usually the things most holding you back. That relationship you know isn't right, but are afraid to leave. That job that's slowly killing your soul, but feels safe. That image of yourself that's too small for who you're becoming. Your attachment to these things isn't protecting you. It's preventing your evolution. But letting go doesn't mean not caring. This is crucial to understand. Letting go means caring so deeply about your own growth and evolution that you're willing to release anything that blocks it. It means loving yourself enough to make space for what truly serves you. It means trusting life enough to release your death grip on controlling it. Think about driving a car. When you approach a turn, what do? You ease up on the gas, right? You don't slam on the accelerator and try to force your way through. Life is the same way. When you face transitions or challenges, often the best action is to ease your grip, not tighten it. The paradox is that when you let go of trying to control everything, you actually gain more real power. Not power over others or circumstances, but power over the only thing you truly can control, yourself. Your reactions, your choices, your state of being. Look at nature. A tree doesn't resist the wind. It bends. A river doesn't fight the rocks in its path. It flows around them. The moon doesn't try to control the tides. It simply exerts its natural influence and allows the water to respond. There's immense power in this kind of allowing. All sounds good in theory, but my life is different. You don't understand my circumstances, and you're right. I don't know your specific situation, but I do know that's whatever circumstance you're in right now. Holding on tighter isn't the answer. The solution always lies in letting go of something. Maybe it's letting go of the need to be right, or the need to know how everything will work out. Maybe it's letting go of the idea that you should be further along by now, or the belief that your past defines your future. Maybe it's simply letting go of letting go, releasing the pressure you put on yourself to have everything figured out. The beauty is that letting go isn't something you need to learn, It's something you need to remember. As children, we naturally lived this way. We cried when we were sad, laughed when we were happy, forgot about injuries as soon as they stopped hurting. We hadn't yet learned to hold on to pain, to nurse grudges, to overthink everything. When you truly let go, you don't lose anything real. You only lose what was false, what was holding you back, what was blocking your light. It's like taking off a heavy coat on a warm day. What you're releasing is the burden, not the essence. Think about the heaviest thing you're carrying right now. Maybe it's resentment towards someone who hurt you. Every time you think of them, you feel that familiar knot in your stomach, that tension in your jaw. You think holding onto this anger protects you somehow, keeps you safe from being hurt again. But who is really suffering from your resentment? Who is drinking the poison and hoping the other person gets sick? Or maybe you're holding on to an outdated version of yourself. The achiever who has to constantly prove their worth. The helper who can't say no. The perfectionists who can't allow themselves to make mistakes. These identities might have served you once, might have helped you survive or succeed in the past. But are they serving you now? Are they becoming a cage too small for who you're becoming? The truth about transformation is that it rarely happens in the way we expect. We think we need to add something, more knowledge, more skills, more resources, but real transformation almost always comes through subtraction, letting go of what's blocking our natural light from shining through. Think of a sculptor working with marble. They don't add anything to create their masterpiece. They remove what doesn't belong, gradually revealing the beauty that was always there within the stone. Your life is like that marble. The masterpiece, your authentic, peaceful, powerful self is already there. Your job isn't to create it, but to remove everything that's hiding it. But here's where many of us get stuck. We've been conditioned to believe that letting go means giving up, that surrender means defeat. Nothing could be further from the truth. True letting go requires immense courage. It takes more strength to release than to hold on, more power to surrender than to control, more wisdom to allow than to force. Consider how much of your life is driven by fear. Fear of not having enough, fear of not being enough, fear of what others might think, fear of the unknown. These fears create a kind of spiritual arthritis. They make us rigid, inflexible, afraid to move freely through life. And what's the antidote to fear? It's not courage, though, that helps. It's not preparation, though, that has its place. The true antidote to fear is trust. Trust in life. Trust in yourself. Trust in the natural unfolding of. When you trust, letting go becomes natural. It's like being in a river. When you trust the flow, you can relax and be carried. When you don't trust, you fight against the current, exhausting yourself while going nowhere. How much of your life is spent fighting the river? Let's talk about control for a moment. We're all control freaks to some degree, aren't we? We try to control our circumstances, other people's behaviors, even our own thoughts and feelings. How's that working out? The more we try to control, the more out of control everything feels. It's like trying to hold water in a clenched fist. The tighter we squeeze, the more it slips away. But what if control itself is the problem? What if your need to control situations, outcomes, and other people is actually blocking you from experiencing the magic of life? What if by trying to make everything safe and certain, you're actually making your world smaller and more confined? The universe has a much bigger imagination than you do. The possibilities available to you are far greater than what your limited mind can conceive. But to access these possibilities, you have to let go of your tiny plans, your rigid expectations, your need to know how everything will work out. Think about the best things that have happened in your life. How many of them did you plan? How many came as complete surprises, gifts you could never have orchestrated with your limited perspective? Yet how much time do you spend trying to plan and control every detail of your future? The irony is that the more you let go of controlling the outcome, the more likely you are to get what you truly want. Because when you're not attached to things looking a certain way, you're open to receiving something even better than what you imagined. This brings us to another crucial aspect of letting go, releasing the need to understand everything. The human mind loves to know why. Why did this happen? Why did they do that? Why am I feeling this way? We think if we can just understand everything, we can somehow control it or prevent pain in the future. But some things aren't meant to be understood. They're meant to be experienced and learned from. Some questions don't have answers. They're meant to open us up to mystery and wonder. Some pain doesn't have a reason. It's meant to crack us open to greater compassion and wisdom. What would change in your life if you let go of needing to understand everything? What if instead of asking, why is this happening to me, you asked, what is this teaching me? Instead of, why did they do that? You asked, what can I learn from this? Instead of, why do I feel this way? You asked, what is this feeling showing me? The shift from resistance to acceptance, from control to trust, from forcing to allowing, this is the heart of letting go. But remember, acceptance doesn't mean resignation. It doesn't mean you approve of what happened or that you won't take action to change things. It simply means you stop fighting what is. You stop arguing with reality. You stop wasting energy resisting what has already happened. Consider how much energy you spend wishing things were different than they are. Wishing you had made different choices in the past. Wishing other people would change. Wishing circumstances were more favorable. All that energy spent on wishing is energy that could be spent on growing, on creating, on truly living. When you let go of how you think things should be, you create space to see them as they are. And only when you see clearly can you act effectively. Only when you accept where you are can you move forward with wisdom and grace. But letting go isn't just about the big things, the relationships, the careers, the life-changing decisions. It's also about the small, moment-to-moment choices to release rather than grip. Letting go of the need to be right in an argument. Letting go of judgment when someone drives slowly in front of you. Letting go of anxiety about something you can't control. These small moments of letting go are like daily exercises that strengthen your spiritual muscles. Each time you choose release over resistance, flow over force, acceptance over argument, you're building your capacity for peace. You're practicing for the bigger moments when letting go really matters. And here's something beautiful about letting go. It creates a ripple effect in your life. When you let go in one area, it becomes easier to let go in others. When you release one limiting belief, other limitations naturally start to fall. When you let go of one grudge, other resentments begin to lose their power over you. Think about relationships for a moment. How many of them are strained because someone is holding on to something? An old hurt, an unmet expectation, a need to be right, a desire to control. What would these relationships look like if you simply let go? Not of the relationship itself, but of your attachments around it. The deepest connections come when we let go of trying to change or control others. When we release our expectations of how they should be and allow them to be who they are. When we stop trying to make them responsible for our happiness and take full responsibility for our own well-being. This applies to your relationship with yourself too. How much of your suffering comes from not accepting yourself as you are? From holding on to an idealized version of who you should be, from gripping tightly to past mistakes or future worries. What would it feel like to let go of all that and simply be present with yourself, exactly as you are, The practice of letting go reveals a profound truths. Most of what we think we need to hold on to is actually holding on to us. Our attachments become our limitations. Our possessions end up possessing. Our need to control ends up controlling us. Our resistance to what has becomes the source of our... But there's a certain fear that comes up when we talk about letting go. The ego whispers, if you let go, you'll lose everything. If you surrender, you'll become weak. If you accept things as they are, nothing will ever change. These are lies. The reality is exactly the opposite. When you let go, you create space for something new. When you surrender, you tap into a power greater than your ego. When you accept what is, you create the foundation for genuine change. It's like the martial art of Aikido. By not resisting your opponent's energy, you actually gain the power to redirect it. Everything in nature operates through cycles of holding on and letting go. Trees hold their leaves in summer, let them go in fall. The lungs hold breath in, let it go out. The heart contracts and releases. The earth holds on today, lets it go into night. Even your cells are constantly letting go of what no longer serves them. Letting go isn't just a spiritual practice. It's how life itself works. But we humans, in our wisdom and our folly, often try to interrupt this natural cycle. We hold on to summer when winter is coming. We hold on to breath when it needs to be released. We hold on to youth when age is calling. We hold on to relationships that have completed their purpose. We hold on to versions of ourselves that we've outgrown. The cost of this resistance is enormous. It shows up as stress in our bodies, anxiety in our minds, heaviness in our hearts. It manifests as disease, as depression, as disconnection from ourselves and others, all because we're fighting against the natural flow of life instead of moving with it. The solution isn't to never hold on, it's to hold on lightly, to grip things the way you'd hold a small bird. Firmly enough that it's secure, gently enough that it can fly away when it's time. This applies to everything, goals, relationships, beliefs, identity. Hold them, yes, but hold them lightly. Think about success for a moment. Most of us have been taught that success comes from holding on, gripping tightly to our goals, controlling every variable, forcing our way forward through sheer will. But what if true success comes from knowing what to let go of? What if the key to achievement isn't in what you gain, but in what you release? The most successful people I've known aren't those who held on the tightest. They're the ones who were willing to let go the fastest. Let go of strategies that aren't working. Let go of relationships that drain their energy. Let go of beliefs that limit their potential. Let go of the need to be perfect. Let go of the need to have everyone's approval. This kind of letting go requires tremendous trust. Trust in yourself that you can handle whatever comes. Trust in life that it's working for you, not against you. Trust in timing, that things unfold exactly when they're meant to. Trust in the process. Every experience, even the painful ones, serves your growth. But trust isn't blind faith. It's not passive waiting. It's an active surrender. A conscious choice to release what you can't control while taking full responsibility for what you can. It's choosing to dance with life instead of fighting it, to flow with circumstances instead of resisting them. There's a story about two monks walking along a path. They come to a river where a young woman is trying to cross. Though monks are forbidden to touch women, one monk immediately picks her up, carries her across, and sets her down on the other side. The monks continue their journey in silence. After 5 hours, the second monk can't contain himself anymore and bursts out, "How could you carry that woman? We're not supposed to touch women." The first monk replies, "I set her down by the river 5 hours ago. Why are you still carrying her? How many rivers have you crossed? Only to keep carrying what you should have set down on the other side. How many situations from the past are you still lugging around in your mind and heart? The event ended long ago, but you keep it alive through memory and emotion. You've left that job, that relationship, that situation, but have you really let it go?" The practice of letting go isn't just about the past. It's about your relationship with the present moment. It's about releasing your resistance to what is, because here's the truth. The only time you can experience peace, joy, or power is now. Not in some imagined future when everything is perfect. Not in a revised version of the past where things went differently, only now. But how many of us are fully here, fully present in this moment? Or are we carrying the weight of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries? Are we experiencing life directly or through the filter of our judgments, expectations, and fears? How much of life are we missing? Because we're holding on to what should be instead of embracing what is. The invitation of letting go is radical because it asks us to trust in emptiness. To trust that when we release what's no longer serving us, something better can enter. To trust that when we empty our hands of what we've been gripping, they become open to receive. To trust that when we let go of who we think we should be, we create space to discover who we truly are. This trust isn't naive optimism. It's a deep knowing that life itself is on your side, that the universe is not against you, but for you. That everything that happens, even the painful, difficult things, is happening for your growth and evolution. When you truly understand this, letting go becomes natural. Not always easy, but natural. The practice of letting go is ultimately about freedom. Freedom from the past, freedom from limiting beliefs, freedom from others' expectations, freedom from your own self-imposed limitations. Every time you let go of something that doesn't serve you, you reclaim a piece of your power. Every time you release an old hurt or fear, you expand your capacity for joy. But this freedom isn't free. It costs you your attachments, your illusions of control, your familiar pain, your comfortable limitations. Are you willing to pay this price? Are you willing to release the known for the unknown? Are you willing to trust that what's waiting for you is greater than what you're holding on to? The choice is yours. Every moment offers a new opportunity to let go, to release what's no longer serving you, to surrender what you can't control, to accept what is, to trust in the unfolding of your life. These aren't just nice ideas. They're invitations to a completely different way of being in the world. Right now, in this moment, what are you holding on to that's holding you back? What would become possible if you let it go? What dreams could flourish in the space created by release? What parts of yourself could emerge in the freedom of surrender? The path of letting go isn't about reaching a destination where you have no attachments. It's about developing a new relationship with life itself, one where you can hold on when it serves you and let go when it doesn't, where you can care deeply without clinging, where you can act powerfully without forcing, where you can love fully without demanding, where you can live fully without fear. This is your invitation. Not to let go of everything, but to let go of anything that blocks your light from shining, not to stop caring, but to care so deeply that you're willing to release what doesn't serve the highest good. Not to become passive, but to become so aligned with life that action flows naturally and effortlessly. The time is now. The place is here. The person is you. Everything you've been seeking, the peace, the joy, the love, the success, it's already within you, waiting to be uncovered. All you have to do is let go of what's covering it up. Trust that when you let go, you're not losing anything real. You're only losing what was false. Trust that when you surrender, you're not giving up your power. You're stepping into your true power. Trust that when you accept what is, you're not resigning yourself to limitation. You're opening yourself to infinite possibilities. Let go. Let go and watch as everything you've been seeking finds its way to you naturally, easily, joyfully, because that's the ultimate paradox. When you let go of seeking, you become ready to receive. When you let go of forcing, you become available to flow. When you let go of who you think you should be, you become who you truly are. And in that becoming, in that unfolding, in that flowering of your true nature, you'll find that everything you've been seeking was seeking you all along. You just had to empty your hands to receive it. You just had to open your heart to welcome it. You just had to quiet your mind to recognize it. The journey of letting go is a journey of coming home to yourself. And home is where everything you've been seeking already exists. Home is where peace isn't something you achieve, but something you remember. Home is where love isn't something you earn, but something you are. Welcome home.